you truly believe this is real and it happened and this exists, you know Blake Lively would have included this in her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. This would have been part of her complaint.
Was what Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfair Studios. He is the co-founder of Wayfair Studios, along with Justin.
Blake Lively, known for her Hollywood fame, sparked controversy after leaked Sony HR emails accusing co-star Justin Baldoni of being toxic. When Sony denied the document's veracity, rumors suspected Lively engineered the leak to hurt Baldoni. Instead, the event now harms her credibility. Tensions flared on the set of It Ends With Us, culminating into legal disputes. Lively stated Baldoni bullied female co-stars, but he refuted these claims. The leaked reports backfired when Sony dismissed them. Now, Baldoni appears more credible, while Lively's reputation diminishes. The problem escalates out of control, with both sides embroiled in a public feud.
In Blake's first amended complaint, Blake changed what she alleges about what happened while filming the slow dance scene, now that the footage has been released for everyone to see. So what they're saying is, now that, Justin Baldoni shared the truth of what it looks like, they're no longer making the same claims. Previously, they said Miss Lively was filming a slow dance scene for a montage in which no sound was recorded. Of course, Justin proved there was sound. Mr. Baldoni chose to let the camera roll and have them perform the scene, but did not act in character as Ryle. Instead, he spoke to Miss Lively out of character as himself.
Blake Lively attempted to gather momentum against Justin Baldoni when HR complaints about his on-set behavior allegedly surfaced online. Screenshots spread extensively, accusing Baldoni of creating an uncomfortable environment and lacking professionalism. Two actresses reportedly filed complaints with Sony HR. Initially, this seemed awful for Baldoni, supporting Lively's harassment accusations. However, Sony denied having such complaints, and the leaked screenshots had redactions, casting doubt on their veracity. Public faith in Baldoni shifted fast, generating questions about who leaked the material and why. The period matched with Lively contemplating a new lawsuit, prompting suspicions of a coordinated effort to sway public opinion. Despite Lively's publicist's denied involvement, the episode resembled past orchestrated leaks.
Asking for the gag order and explaining how he's talking too much. He's threatening to post stuff on public sites. So what I think is, this looks good for Baldoni, right? He's like, we want to make it all public. And sometimes lawyers can do this knowing that they can't actually do what they say they're going to do.
If these HR papers were legitimate, Sony would likely confirm or investigate them internally. Instead, they denied having records of such complaints, with its legal team fearing forgery. HR documents are sensitive. Slipping them online is unusual. The leak featured contradictions. Some lines mentioned specific occurrences, although dates were blacked out. Formatting was inconsistent, with some parts matching company policies and others sounding tabloid-esque. Industry analysts think that true HR documentation would be more uniform. Sony's answer sparked conjecture over who leaked the materials. Both stealing legitimate files or inventing them entailed challenges. Many suspected Blake Lively's team because to alignment with her narrative. Disclosing fake HR info risks fraud, slander, and litigation.
In a new amended complaint and the ongoing legal battle, Lively's legal team saying the experiences of Ms. Lively and others were documented at the time they occurred starting in May of 2023.
To appreciate the leak, we need to look at the bigger picture. The rivalry that's been seething behind Hollywood's glossy facade. The enmity between Blake and Justin supposedly originated during production for It Ends With Us. On paper, it was an ideal project. Lively, a beloved celebrity with box office attraction, teamed with Baldoni, an up-and-coming director-actor known for promoting authentic storytelling. The set promised cinematic magic, yet reports spread that the two clashed over screenplay ideas, character interpretations, and even the tone of critical portions. Some witnesses observed anxious atmosphere, while others thought everything was normal and professional. Things took a dramatic turn when, after shooting completed, Blake Lively filed a formal complaint, stating Justin Baldoni had fostered a hazardous environment. She alleged that he ignored her limitations, made sarcastic remarks behind her back, and even entered her private trailer uninvited. Baldoni fiercely denied these claims, calling them false and ignorant. He pointed out that any on-set conflicts had to do with creative direction, not personal harassment. The deeper the dispute developed, the more both sides dug in, each charging the other was twisting facts. Slowly but slowly, public opinion began to divide. Some fans, especially those who idolized Blake for years, trusted her claim and sided, with the idea that Hollywood ought to punish abusers accountable. Others found Baldoni's calm, point-by-point response intriguing, where many expected a chaotic he said, she said.
Blake Lively accused It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni of and retaliation. Lively's complaint accuses Baldoni, who is also the film's director, of creating a hostile work environment and trying to ruin her reputation after she expressed her concerns.
Justin's team generated strong evidence, such behind-the-scenes footage or time-stamped records. That's what made these stolen HR documents such a bombshell. They seemed prepared to tip the tide firmly in Lively's favor, presenting external proof that Justin was troublesome. Yet, the suspicious nature of the leak presented a much darker possibility, that it was all part of a wider smear effort organized by Lively or her accomplices. If Blake Lively believed the leaked HR complaints would put Justin Baldoni on the defense, she evidently miscalculated his persistence. Instead of cringing in embarrassment, Baldoni went on the offensive. His lawyer provided a clear statement. They were already studying the origins of these documents, and they had major doubts about their reliability. Reports indicate Baldoni's staff reached out to Sony's internal HR unit almost swiftly for verification, discovering that none of the accusations matched any official records. That instantly exposed the disclosure as questionable at best, willful misrepresentation at worst. Worse for Blake, this wasn't the first time an incriminating leak about Baldoni had crumbled under scrutiny. Earlier, a voice memo circulated in which Justin supposedly apologized to Blake for falling short. At first, it seemed like a confession of guilt until Baldoni released the rest of the recording, revealing it was merely an apology for a minor creative argument about script alterations. The trend was telling. Each time dramatic material surfaced, Baldoni had verified data or film that threw considerable doubt on the headlines. In that sense, the HR leak was merely the latest in a string of questionable revelations that collapsed upon deeper scrutiny.
He and 9 other plaintiffs, including his publicists, have brought a $250 million lawsuit against the New York Times, essentially alleging them of libel and false light invasion of privacy. So Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, he told BBC's partner CBS that the newspaper aided and abetted a smear campaign designed to revitalise Lively's floundering.
Justin also benefited on the deluge of sympathy from industry peers. Several co-workers, from makeup artists to producers, have explicitly said they never noticed the alleged wrongdoing. Some went as far as admiring Baldoni's inclusive attitude on set. These testimonials further eroded the credibility of Lively's recent proof and showed that the tide was flowing in Justin's favor. He wasn't just defending himself, he was systematically destroying the core premise of Blake's arguments. Hollywood is no stranger to planned leaks and rumor placements, especially when star power is on the line. Long before Blake's formal accusation against Baldoni, gossip columns started mentioning unverified episodes of tension. Stories would go up that Justin was hard to work with, or that many co-stars felt frightened around him. But these allegations rarely cited credible names or sources. In some circumstances, they were outright contradictory. One tabloid could claim an incident happened mid-shoot, another swear it happened during post-production. Baldoni's team maintained from the outset that Lively's public relations machinery was undertaking a smear campaign. Although Blake's spokespeople denied it repeatedly, the leak of these HR records seemed to reflect the pattern. Scary new claims coming at strategic moments, based on anonymous sources and without essential information, that might be independently validated. This method is often adopted in Hollywood to test the waters of public opinion.
Justin says that Blake was determined to make him the real-life villain in her story because she wasn't doing well on the promo tour for the movie. It was very tone deaf. Her hair care line wasn't doing well. She was trying to sell booze while talking about domestic violence. Justin says the war between himself and Blake really started in May 2023 when they started shooting the movie. He claims that she was organizing a takeover strategy.
If the first rumor gathers support, it can open the way for more formal pronouncements or lawsuits, giving them a veneer of authenticity. But when the rumor is disassembled, it leaves the author seeming manipulative. And that's exactly the predicament Blake Lively found herself in. Underlining the seriousness of the issue, some industry insiders started questioning the ethics of executing such a campaign. If you have a valid claim of harassment, you go through proper channels, remarked one film executive, speaking under anonymity. You don't typically leak half-baked documents online. The more that concept grew, the more Lively faced outrage for potentially diminishing the severity of actual harassment complaints by playing these PR games. The incident around the HR leak has led to rising legal tensions between Lively and Baldoni. Justin's countersuit against Blake, supposedly valued hundreds of millions in damages, accuses her of slander and civil extortion. The latter implies that people in Lively's orbit attempted to strong-arm Baldoni with adverse press, maybe hinting, settle or do X, or will go public with damaging materials. If proven in court, it's more than merely a career ender. It's borderline criminal behavior. Meanwhile, Sony is initiating its own internal review. Someone definitely shared documents that look to hold Sony's trademark. Could an employee have stolen or fabricated them? If the company uncovers even a shred of evidence attributing the leak to Lively, the implications for her might be severe. Litigation proceedings, blacklisting from future projects, and a damaged reputation that no amount of spin can recover might all come into play.
Dear Judge Lyman, as counsel for Wayfarer Studios LLC, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, It Ends With Us Movie LLC, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR LLC, and Jennifer Abel, collectively the Wayfarer parties, we write to advise the court of an issue that the Wayfarer parties wish to address at the upcoming conference on Monday, February 3rd, 2025.
Already, there's buzz that certain studio bosses are hesitant about collaborating with an actor who would breach confidentiality and professional conventions for personal gain. If that weren't enough pressure, Justin Baldoni has also demonstrated he's not hesitant to sue media outlets he believes are participating in promoting false narratives. He previously initiated a major defamation claim against a renowned newspaper, accusing them of plucking remarks out of context and presenting them as evidence of misbehavior. Baldoni's intention to escalate legal action shows he's fairly secure in his innocence. After all, launching defamation accusations draws great scrutiny. If you're hiding something, that tactic can backfire. By hitting back on litigation, Baldoni is effectively banking that truth, and verifiable facts would vindicate him. Once praised as a media darling, Blake Lively is now fighting with an entirely different public image. She spent years earning tremendous press from her initial appearance on Gossip Girl to her crossover into big-budget films and brand endorsements. Her marriage to Ryan Reynolds further solidified her reputation as one half of a power couple, recognized for their wit and chemistry. But the Hollywood machine runs on rapidly, and it relies on loyalty and trust. When an A-lister is suspected of staging deceptive antics or worse, forging corporate records, CEOs become cautious to sign them onto new enterprises. Industry chatter says that some producers are quietly blacklisting, or at least sidestepping, Lively until her legal difficulties conclude. If she's proven accountable for defamation or fraudulent behavior, insurance premiums on any future production might skyrocket. Nobody wants that risk. Even brand sponsorships can reassess their Randy connections, frightened of unwanted news.
Was what Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfarer Studios. He is the co-founder of Wayfarer Studios, along with Justin. And she says in this lawsuit that, it's interesting, she says, this is what I heard, he said, but it's presented as a quote in the lawsuit. She says that Steve said, I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully. That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement away from his co-stars and didn't even get to see the final cut of his own movie because Blake Lively insisted that she be the one to approve it.
As Lively's position illustrates. For Baldoni, vindication came at a cost, while Lively faced a dilemma unlike any she's encountered. The ensuing court skirmishes left the entertainment business watching to see if Lively can rehabilitate her reputation, and whether Baldoni will retain his momentum. One thing is certain, Baldoni shows no indications of backing down, and every attempt to undercut him fuels his resolve.